Okay, in today's video I want to talk about rights of way and the significant changes that are coming in the law in relation to rights of way at the end of November 2021. As a backdrop or background to this whole area, the Land and Conveyancing Law Reform Act of 2009 attempted to straighten out the law in Ireland in relation to easements and rights of way, but it transpired or became apparent very quickly that the attempt was an unsuccessful one, and transitionary arrangements were put in place. And the transitionary arrangements that were put in place involved an application to the land registry by way of section 49A procedure, which would allow you to register a right of way on your folio, on your land registry folio, or on somebody else's folio as a burden. But this was only a transitional arrangement, and it ends on the 30th or 31st of November, 30th of November 2021. So currently, just to be clear, there's three ways that you can have a right of way registered for a property. And the likes of this property here where I live in the country, if I want a right of way registered on a land registry folio, there's three ways at the moment I could do it. There's three ways that I could have done it since 2009 or 2010. Those ways would be: one, by going to court and getting a court order that I'm entitled to a right of way, and I'd have to make a submission, make an application grounded on affidavits and so on, setting out the proofs essentially of long usage, etc., etc. The second way is to negotiate a deed of grant of right of way. So say I want to get a right of way to my property here from across that field next door, then if I can negotiate a deed of grant of right of way from the adjoining landowner, then I'm in business. I've got a right of way and it can be registered as an appurtenant to my property folio, and it can be registered as a burden on the other folio. That's not easy, however, to negotiate, but we'll park that for the moment and come back to it. The third way is the 49A application to the land registry. That involves swearing an affidavit and setting out your usage by over a period of time, over 12 years, and you are basically applying for a right of way to be registered by prescription, in other words, through long usage. So you'd be setting out an affidavit or swearing an affidavit and setting out the evidence of long usage over a period of time in excess of, say, 12 years. If the land registry is satisfied, and the land registry would, on receipt of the application, send out a notice to the affected landowners asking them if they had any objection and so on. If land registry was satisfied, then the right of way would be registered. And that's not a perfect way to go about it, but it's not a bad way, and it's been quite successful over the last 10 years or so. But that's been done away with on the 30th of November. And from the 1st of December 2021, you're going to need to go to court to get a court order, or you're going to need to negotiate a right of way, a deed of grant of right of way from the affected landowners. Now, up and down the country and around here, it's no exception. I know a road, I know a laneway that would go down across a number of folios, and therefore there's a number of affected landowners. And this is very relevant to rural properties and to farms. But it is conceivable that a laneway would be used for years. It's not in charge of the local authority, it's not in charge of Kildare or Meath County Council. It's going over 3, 4, 5 different properties, perhaps just touching on the edges of those properties, and ultimately I'm going to have to go to court, or I'm going to have to negotiate a grant right of way. Now, negotiating a grant of right of way from, say, 4 or 5 landowners who are affected can be very problematic, because firstly you have the individual who thinks, oh, he needs me, I'm going to hold out and I'm going to get a few bob for this. Then you have the question of perhaps somebody passing away and difficulty in locating the registered owner or whoever might be able to act on behalf of the registered owner if the registered owner has passed away. Then you might have a situation where perhaps somebody's passed away and the relations and so on are scattered to the four winds, are in America or England or wherever. Again, negotiating a right of way, a deed of grant of right of way in those circumstances with perhaps 1, 2, 3, 4 owners is going to be very difficult. And obviously in any negotiation, the more moving parts, the more difficult it is to arrive at a deal, a satisfactory deal. So bottom line is, from the 1st of December, as the law currently stands, the transition arrangements are going to cease and you will need to go to court, or you need to negotiate a grant from the landowners whose land is affected. However, the Law Society, I understand, have made submissions to government for an extension of the transitional arrangements for a number of years in order to allow the legislators essentially legislate for the whole area of easements and rights of way and so on and so forth. Now, this may not be a huge deal in a town or in a housing estate, that sort of thing, but any house that's out in the countryside, rural properties, farms and so on are severely affected by this, because obviously we're all familiar with laneways and roads, borings that are not in charge of the local authority. Nobody owns them as such. They are cover or traverse across a number of folios, a number of affected landowners. People could tell you. Anyway, I was interrupted there because my memory card filled up and the film came to an end, or the movie or whatever it is, video came to an end. As I was saying, we all know lanes and borings and side roads and so on that are not in charge of the local authorities, especially in country areas, and they may touch upon many properties belonging to different landowners. Trying to negotiate a right of way with all of the affected landowners in those circumstances could be very difficult. The alternative is go to court, which can be quite expensive. So we're hoping, and the Law Society, as I say, has made a submission to government asking them to extend the transitionary period to allow the continuation of the use of the 49A procedure to register a right of way by prescription, that is, by long use. And if that doesn't happen, then we're going to have a problem from the 1st of December. So anyway, hope you find this video useful. If you do, I would appreciate if you gave it the thumbs up down below, and if you're interested in subscribing to my YouTube channel, just hit the subscribe button, and you can hit the bell icon then as well if you want to be notified every time I make a video. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your support.